Hello, everybody. It's Mark Sage here with our latest area Fireside chat. I'm lucky enough to be here with Stuart from the Manufacturing Technology Centre, better known as the MTC. So, Stuart, let's rush into it straight away. Tell us a little bit about yourself, but also the MTC sort of describes itself as a centre that helps companies bridge this gap between sort of great ideas and to successful industrial kind of use cases and stuff like that. It's really important. How would you explain in simple terms what the MTC does and the key problems that you're solving today for the UK manufacturing?
So the MTC is all about the adoption of new technologies of automation, and my specific area is around the adoption of digital technologies, including the XR and augmented reality types of applications. As you say, we are bridging that the valley of death between things are coming out of research as to what companies can adopt. We try and phrase that now as it's the bridge of opportunity, which is there are so many opportunities to improve manufacturing. I think that the area that what we're looking at is we provide companies with the approach that they can do to make the best use of new technologies, which includes automation and digital technologies and everything else in between.
And Stuart, a little bit about yourself.
So yes, I've been at the MTC for just over 4 years now. I'm the lead for digital technologies here, and that includes everything from shop floor connectivity. It includes data science and AI, the integration of business systems, so ICT systems, and then there's the VR and AR aspects on top of that as well.
Wow, so quite a big remit.
So it's a good set of technologies to have behind you. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, obviously at the area we focus on augmented reality. So can you talk a little bit about how does AR fit into that message? And maybe kind of share a few examples of how you've been using XR with your partners, the kind of benefits you're seeing, not only for yourself, but for manufacturers and workers and the wider innovation ecosystem that you're obviously managing.
So here at the MTC, obviously we've got a lot of demonstrators that are around. So actually on site, we use augmented reality to showcase what we have without having to run the equipment. So you can have a static machine, but then you can augment that with some data and some simulations to show what a machine was doing, how it would run in the real world, and people can actually get a feel of how it actually operates and provide the an overlay for let's say somebody who doesn't know about that machine, who can then go away and present it to somebody else. So providing the background information that somebody who wants to sell that technology or that process needs to go away and do that. Augmented reality is highly sought after, really, but people haven't actually started implementing it. So as we said, we are about adoption. We have a number of applications that people are looking at. First and foremost is training and onboarding. So we've had a lot of applications where they've got new equipment, new processes. They want to train people. It's very expensive to bring trainers in. But if you can put that in an augmented reality framework, you can repeat that. You can use it again and again. You can deploy it in multiple factories, and you can train people to a reasonable level and make sure that they have actually completed the training that they said they were going to do, rather than just watch a video. Also, we look at we've been talking about this earlier, that how do we take augmented reality and make it your favorite screwdriver? And how, we talked about inspection processes. An inspector will have to do some inspection. He will have to then create a report. He will then have to log that report, and that has to be stored digitally. To be my favorite screwdriver, I don't want it to be something I put on and then I have to do all of those processes. I have to have that built into the way in which I work. So you put the headset on, you log on to the job, you follow the process through, it takes you through the process of recording the validation you need for your inspection or your process or your commissioning process, and then it records that for you in the background while you get on to the next job. So it saves you time. It saves you all of the effort of walking backwards and forwards and opening your laptop and that sort of thing. The big areas of adoption are the price of the equipment. How do you keep that equipment clean? How do you share that equipment between users? How do you make sure that it's always available and it's always charged up? Also, life cycle of the battery, and we were talking about that earlier as well. Typically somebody will work for 4 hours before they go for a break. Batteries don't generally last that long. Do you want to trail a battery behind you on a trolley? No. But so these sorts of things are barriers to adoptions, but they're not necessarily a full blocker when you start looking at the benefits of it as well.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Quite a wide overview of different use cases and things like that. You mentioned in your talk you're seeing more and more kind of companies interested. Inspection being one of them, and training. Is there other kind of use cases that you're seeing? There's quite a wide range in the area. There's a lot of work on defining use cases. Any others that springs to mind?
One of the huge things is commissioning. We're building large assemblies, let's say in a shipyard or aircraft. When you start commissioning those equipment, making sure things are in the right place, things are done to the right specification, or identifying where people should put things and insert things. So running pipe work, is it put in the right place? If you run a pipe, one side of a wall or the other side of the wall makes a big difference. They might not see that on a complex assembly, but then when you start putting additional equipment in that environment, it causes problems. So using augmented reality to identify where those pieces should go, and then also provide the location and position of those for a commissioning engineer to validate it before they get the quality in, before they then do the next processes, is a key one. And I also think that when you start planning your build of large assemblies, actually validating the level of build at each stage is very important, so that you can ensure that things are done correctly before you get expensive resources in to start the next process.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you for those insights. Again, looking at kind of all your work across the industry, how do you see the XR ecosystem? And let's focus a little bit on the UK, because I know you're part of the kind of digital, high value digital catapult, isn't it? Is that the
HVMC, right? Manufacturing catapult? Yeah,
absolutely. So you're seeing kind of across the whole of the UK. Yeah, what do you think's working well from an XR AR perspective, and what's kind of missing or challenging, and what you'd like to see kind of change so we can get the next level, impact even more?
It does really go back to adoption and linking in with processes. I think there is a reluctance to embed this technology into the way people work because of the cost, and also people's personalities and the way in which they use equipment is headsets and tablets tend to get very personal, and the way in which you use them is very personal to you, and how people are quite worried about. And I'm putting something that I am interacting with in a quite a personal way in my work environment is something that I think we need to get over to the workforce, that these things are there to help you. And I think and again, we talked about this before, the sort of the meta glasses that are coming around may have more appeal because they're less obtrusive, they're less clunky, but they may have different applications. So you can't use them for full augmented reality. You can perhaps use them for operator assistance, that sort of thing. But I think if we look at the ways in which we can use different technologies at different levels, so Meta could be the way in which you'd use remote assistance for maintenance. Then you move on to the more tablet-based or location-based headsets that can provide location-based information. So it's picking up information about the location, where I am, what needs to be where, providing me with perhaps the identification of where a fault might be. So if I walk into a large environment, I need to find a fault quickly. The headset knows where I am, points me in the right direction, gets me to the source of the problem where I can actually start doing the work. So that's sort of the next level. And then beyond that, you've got all the streamed media that you can get in to help you out. You've got documentation and AI that will help you strip out all the bits of the documentation you don't need, bring you the right bit of information for you to do the job in the right space at the right time. I think that's where we should be heading for the future, and I think that's where a lot of companies will start to see the benefits.
Yeah, I think you're right. So it's a little bit about kind of hearts and minds and change management. It's a little bit about the technology, the cost of the technology, and then the kind of environment as well, the connectivity, the kind of connection part, and having the right information at the right time. So I think that's a kind of a really good summary of what's needed, and again, we're all working towards that.
I think
awesome,
just on that, I think the new technologies for streaming data to headsets rather than having to load the models directly into the headset before you go anywhere. I think that is very powerful, especially when you start looking at a manufacturing shop floor where you might have one headset that could cover a whole range of equipment. So if you can stream that headset based on its the data to that headset based on its location, that becomes a lot more powerful and a lot more cost effective for a company to embed into their systems.
Absolutely, as long as it's not they're allowed to have that connectivity and go off to the cloud, and that's another big debate, maybe for another day.
Another day, yeah.
Another day, yeah. Stuart, thank you very much. Looking forward to working with the MTC. It's an organisation I know well. You're doing some great stuff there, and thank you for being on our Fireside Chat today.
Excellent. Thanks, Mark.